So interesting, as you say, when you're looking at the feet. Here's my hand. So look at the shape of that first MTPJ compared to this one. It's almost bulkier. It's almost like it's being rotated. It's being like the first met's twisting down, and then the toes having to react to it, which means it can't move in the plane that it wants to move. So I think if we're looking at that resistance on the underside, and you take that resistance away from the underside, do we start to get a happier movement? Yeah. And then let's say now I'm going to let Matt's foot dump back down again. You see the whole hind foot shift across, the tail has come in as well, and poor old big toe. All right,
it stiffens up,
can't function how it wants to.
Yeah.
So what range of movements would we like to look at with Matt?
So it'd be good to see, when we get you on the couch looking at your big toe joint movement generally, also your ankle movement, the rear foot and the big toe joint, so the ankle and the big toe joint work together. We have a windlass mechanism that needs to work in sync so that we have appropriate amount of rear foot landing to toe off and into propulsion, particularly you being a runner. That would be really crucial. Generally movement through the subtalar joint, so the link between the ankle and subtalar joint would be useful, just to see the amount of the rotation that you've got through that joint. And then obviously we want to have a look at some strength, so look at the strength of your calf complex, look at the strength of your intrinsics, maybe the toe exercises, see what you're capable of in terms of those muscle groups, and then probably as well looking higher up the chain, looking at the glute and the linking all with what your findings of the glute strength and the lower back and things like that.
Cool. So I think it's interesting looking at feet, isn't it? Because like you say, what you can see is effectively the it's pronated, but it's not. And we talked about pronation prior to the video. It's not over-pronated, right? So it's not absolute. The whole lot isn't dumped down into this position, but there's certainly the prominence of the navicular on this side, and you can see that area of the foot being dropped down.
Yeah.
But Matt's doing a really good job of trying to
hold it up,
counteract it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get that. The relationship between the ankle and sort of the mid-tarsal joint here, whereby the mid-tarsal joint has actually created a greater angle when it links over to the big toe joint because of that shift in the ankle. So no, I wouldn't say Matt has a pronated foot type. I would say his right foot prefers to sit in a enhanced or a more pronated posture compared to the left, but I wouldn't classify you as excessively pronated, no. I think there's more of a link with your right foot and your big toe joint and your ankle and pelvis, potentially linking up with symptoms and strength there.
So visually, we looked there, but then I'm going to tilt that down at the sort of slightly bigger first MTPJ, and then as we come up and look a bit higher up, what is notable is this activation of medial gastroc on this side compared to the other side. And actually, if I squeeze this side and we look at what's the resistance like, and I squeeze the opposite side, I mean, that's tough. And if I dig into there, if you could see Matt's face, there'd be a scowl on it at the moment, because that is just working really, really hard. So it's helping to hold this medial column and overworking through here. So this would be your ideal scenario where someone's not got the right foot, where they've not got the right foot support, and they're coming in with a pulled calf muscle.
Yeah.
Because this poor guy is working like an absolute train.
Yeah.
Now the likelihood is that when they get into connections, as we go higher up the chain, you start to find increased activation of hamstrings and some funky things going on around the hip as well, which is what we talked about with Matt, and we know that's happening. So the joy will be to see if you start to change that foot position, does it change how active those muscles are?